Improvements to Russia and Northern Europe, AI traffic and new graphical options are just a few of the things that Asobo Studio discussed in their latest livestream on Microsoft Flight Simulator. Let's jump in and take a look. The next world update is set to release in late November, and as mentioned previously, this will focus on the USA. Specifically, Asobo stated that there will be a bunch of new aerial data which will greatly improve the appearance of many states. This then is likely to be very similar to how the visuals were improved in Japan. In terms of other areas for the update, there will be a number of new airports, and these will bring these specific airports up to the standards of the high detailed ones that are currently available elsewhere. And these new airports will include Atlanta, Friday Harbor, VFW, and New York Stewart International. The update will also include 50 new points of interest and famous landmarks from right across the USA. Now in the sim right now there's already plenty of different points of interest, although some of them certainly could do with a bit of improvement, shall we say. So I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what Asobo come up with on this. Also, World Update 2 will come with a new bush trip. This one will be set in Alaska. The question of improving other countries is certainly a regular one, and many people would have noticed that some countries are in a far worse condition than others. One area which could be much improved are the visuals in Russia. This is something that Asobo do want to work on, however it requires new data sources that they don't currently have. Now much of the world in Microsoft Flight Simulator has been built using data from Bing Maps as well as other sources. But from what Asobo are saying, these data sources have some very clear gaps, and this explains why areas such as Russia are not as good as they perhaps could be. With that in mind then, Asobo are looking to other data sources, and these include asking governments for usable data. The developers then said that Russia is on the list to be improved and will likely happen at some point next year. Meanwhile, Northern Europe, that is the Nordic countries, currently face similar issues in terms of quality. However, this is something that Asobo are working on right now, so it seems we can expect to see improvements there very soon. AI traffic has been an issue right from day one ever since the release, and this can be broken down into numerous different areas, but overall and broadly speaking includes AI planes not having realistic or correct deliveries. It also includes a general lack of AI activity all over the place, something that is very noticeable if you have spent any time at some of the busy airports, which, generally speaking, they are not busy, at least not as busy as they should be. So regarding these issues, Asobo were far more clear in their answer on the livery subject than they were on the traffic subject. Liveries are something that they want to improve, and their desire would be to include all of real-world airliner liveries. However, in order to use these, in order to achieve this, they need to be licensed from real-world owners. Asobo stated that they have members of their team who are specifically dedicated to achieving these types of things. And they are also actively in discussions with airliners all around the world. So it's definitely something that will happen, it's just a matter of time. Now, in a way, it kind of felt from Asobo's answers on this subject that having the correct plane models and liveries was one of the hurdles for populating AI in general. Basically, they want them to be accurate right from the start. However, it also felt like they were being a little vague in discussing what was going on with the lack of volume in AI traffic. But that may just be me, and I could perhaps be reading too much into their statement. Either way, Asobo have said that these are areas that will be improved, and it will come with one of the large updates, either a sim update or a world update. Last week, players looking through the Microsoft Flight Simulator code discovered a reference to Xbox Scarlet VR. Now this is something that the developers seemed very keen to address. In short, they said, no, there's not an Xbox VR version in development. The reference in the code was very simply explained. Essentially, the current development on the PC VR version of the sim requires a lot of new work on the UI. And whilst they're doing this work, they're also working on the Xbox UI. Bottom line, the Scarlet VR reference is a simple reference to the Xbox UI work and not connected at all to VR. So it's nice to see that Asobo were willing to address this and clarify the situation. Another thing that the gaming press widely reported on last week was the growing use of Google Map data being imported by the community into Microsoft Flight Simulator. Asobo did touch on this, saying that Bing Maps is continuously being improved and that Asobo and Bing have a current roadmap that is a year long, which will continuously bring mapping data improvements into the sim. And we also know from past discussions that the studio would like to support the sim for at least the next 10 years. So, whichever way we cut it, it seems there's plenty of new stuff coming down the line. Now, lighting is an area which very clearly has had issues over the past few updates. Patch 5, which has just been released, goes some way towards fixing this. However, it seems some people have noticed that in some areas, the changes have actually made things worse. Now, currently I'm not able to look into this myself, unfortunately, as Microsoft Flight Simulator will not update for me due to a bug on the Windows Store. And I'm actually tempted to give up on trying to get this working and just going out and rebuying the sim on Steam, which overall seems to have far less issues in general. But that's besides the point and a topic for another day. My main point here is that right now I've not been able to look into this directly for myself, that is the lighting issues. That said, I have received numerous screenshots. This one here is a great example. Now do pay attention to the random brightness levels of various lights all over the city here, all over the landscape, which helps convey a sense of realism. Basically, not everything is equally bright. But now look at this screenshot. This is taken from the current update, Update 5, and you can see the brightness of lighting has dramatically changed. Everything is pretty much the same. There's also a presence of repeating patterns, which makes the overall scene look extremely artificial. Elsewhere, there are cases of lights floating above the ground, which you can see in this screenshot from the official forums. And finally, masses of lights are now present in areas where they really shouldn't be. And this particular screenshot from a forum user claims that the lighting on the roads here are actually country lanes, which in the real world don't actually have any lights at all. So it seems that the process of fixing the lighting remains an ongoing work with a lot left to be fixed. Let's hope Asobo are able to get this sorted, as the night lighting has been one of the true great areas of the sim, which in recent times has taken a lot of backward steps, unfortunately. Moving on to the subject of graphics options, this is something that Asobo would like to open up and maybe increase the options. This basically means giving new options in the graphics menus, as well as unlocking the potential of existing ones. However, this is something for a later date. Currently, Asobo are looking at improving performance right across the board. This is their current main focus. And on a related but separate note, over recent weeks, some members of the community have reported an apparent reduction in the quality of the sim's graphics. This comes with claims of changes in the quality of the level of details, or the LOD. Asobo has said that they haven't changed anything here. Numerous reports from players, however, have stated that they feel the LOD has decreased over time across various updates. Asobo say they have looked into this, and they are stating very clearly that they are not noticing any obvious decreases in the quality anywhere, and they are also very clear that they haven't made any changes on their end which could cause anything like this to happen. They are very much aware, though, that this does seem to be an issue for people, so they do seem to want more information on it. Personally, I'm also very interested in this subject, so if anyone has any before and after comparison screenshots which clearly show the decrease in LOD, I'd love to see these. If you have anything like this, please do link them in the comment section. That then brings us to an end of this video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.